Huh?
You be having your titties out in your meetings?
Girl, I don't be having clothes on.
I'm talking
He has
about
to
this
literally.
picture.
Oh yeah, I don't care.
All right, y'all. It's another motherfucking Monday, so you know what that means. Sorry if I offend you. Is back on the block. Today I have with me the one, the only, the Bad Bitch Bible series creator, Posh, aka that bitch. Say what's up, Posh.
Thank you so much for having me on. It's long overdue.
Duh. I know I've been literally waiting to have an episode with you. I just wanted to make sure I had the right subject, and I did want to get you on camera, but you know what? We got this beautiful Abby right there with your titties out. That's all we like the titties over here.
Sex sells. Let's go.
Sex sells. Hey, I ain't got no titties, so every time I got somebody with some titties, I'm like, okay, period,
Girl,
sis. Let them
bye.
bitches out. Now I like my little titties. I wear my tops when you know. I make it work, you know, itty bitty titty committee, but I love them big titty hoes too. How you been though since I've seen you, since we did our episode on her podcast is Posh Sessions, but we did an episode a little while back. How you been since then?
I've been doing good, hanging in there, adjusting to life post-pandemic. So yeah, just cooling, doing what I do, working and shit.
Are you still visuals as well as audio?
So that became challenging,
Mm-hmm.
as I saw with, the episode that we recorded, because a lot of people were still, scared to go into the studio and, be around other people. My cameraman is a family man. He has small babies, so I could understand his fear of not wanting to, be
in the same
exposed.
room. Yeah, be exposed,
Right.
for sure.
And yeah, like if he doesn't have to be. So I upgraded my phone back in January because I had the bright idea that I was going to be able to record off my phone because everybody else does it. So why not?
Right.
And it's really ghetto. So for right now, we're not video, we're just doing audio.
Okay, so I started out with just audio, and right now I'm in my own little trying to figure out what I'm gonna do with video. If people were far away, how we're gonna figure it out. So for me, I figured going this route was gonna be the best way, so people can actually see my cute ass face. Y'all see me? I did my hair for y'all and shit. So for whoever's listening, just audio, y'all need to hit that YouTube.com and see this bitch. Because I curl my hair for y'all a little bit, little beach waves or whatever. But I do agree with that. It does get complicated when you throw in video. And also in this time, you don't know who really wants to work together. And also if you have kids at home, that shit is not easy to work with just anybody. And for me, also it's having people to be timely and to be available because shit pops up. So I depend a lot on myself for this shit, and it's working out so far. But yeah, I definitely feel you with switching over. I'm gonna actually give you guys a little sprinkler. I'm gonna try to do pretty much every video or every episode that I release. I want to start doing video and audio, but some episodes I'm going to do specials where they're just going to be available via audio. So those of you who are now watching the YouTube channel, please go over to all of the podcast streaming sites. I'm on there, and you'll be able to hear all the episodes audio for a fact, and then the select few for video, at least for right now. But
girl, not on YouTube. Put it up on Patreon. Make them pay to see your face. Fuck that.
Oh yeah, this is $1 million page, baby.
You know what I'm saying?
Make that shit go. I do need to start a Patreon, so I was thinking about different ways that I would switch up with the podcast and figure out how to make people involved. And if I do the Patreon, you guys, or I should say when, I'm gonna definitely put up more exclusive content as well, more so like snippets, things that you guys haven't seen from me, bloopers, shit like that I wouldn't put in a regular episode, but you guys can laugh at me and have some fun with it. But to kickstart into the episode, I did talk to you, Posh, a little bit. There was a video that surfaced of the baby, not little baby, not a baby, the baby. Basically, the baby. Basically, he was in his tour bus. I don't know exactly where he was, and some kids knocked on the door, right? He opens the door. They're trying to sell him candy. One got Skittles, like a box of, the Costco box, some big ass boxes. a box of Skittles, and the other one has a box of Gushers. So he's like, okay, you know, let me buy one from you, support, whatever, you know, shit rich people do. And the kid goes, okay, it's $2 a piece for every piece of candy. So he's like, I bet, what about for the whole box? So, you know, motherfucker, you're supposed to give him the bulk deal. Well, the kid goes, it's $200. Okay, let me do the motherfucking math for you. No way in hell did that box of candy cost more than maybe $50, I want to say, because those boxes, they sell in like only places like BJ's, Costco's, I don't know, wholesale spots.
Yeah.
So there's no way the kids, like, whether they stole it or they bought it, it was no more than $50, $60 for the big box, but they're telling him 200. Okay, so he goes to say 200, like, bitch, you got me fucked up. Like, he didn't say that exactly, but we seen it in his face. It literally shows it in the video that he's basically like, what? And everybody on the bus is like, huh? Like $200 for that? I bet. So he goes, okay, so how many pieces are in the box? The kid's like, oh, 35. Bitch, you telling me 2 times 35 equals 200?
Right.
How that even sound? I would have lied to this motherfucker. He wasn't gonna look at the box. If you were gonna do that, you might as well have lied. Said there's 100 pieces and boom, $2 a piece. That makes sense, right? Or and the other kid with the Skittles, they could have just combined them and then said 200, right?
Right.
Instead, he asked, he goes, okay, that's too high. You know, they make their little back and forth about how high the price is. He goes to the kid with the Skittles and goes, yo, how much for one? And then how much for the box? The kid goes 200. So now he's like, all right, you guys are clearly up to something. Like, there's no way both, like, you can't charge me 200 for both. Y'all on some shit. So he goes, nah, let me get a piece of each. And then boom, he buys a piece from them, closes the door on them. They go inside the, when he goes inside the bus, him and everybody that's on the bus is like, bitch, $200. Yeah, right. They smoking crack, basically. And he's like, I ain't buying shit for $200. And basically the lesson there was the kids were greedy, essentially. So to me, I think he taught them a valuable life lesson that they're always gonna, at least for the week, that they're gonna think about, like, damn, I met the baby and he turned me down and I had a bad experience with him. For me, I think greed ruins all aspects of not only like business, but just relationships, period. Let's say the kids would have been like, look, it's $2 a piece. There's 35 in there. I'm not gonna charge you 65. Give me 55 for the whole thing. Boom. Do you know this man would have blessed them? And he even says it in the video, like, damn, I would have blessed them if they weren't trying to like get over on me. I would have probably gave them $1,000 each box. He rich as fuck. You know, rich people do shit like that, give money away for no reason. So I feel like the kids being greedy, they missed their blessing from that. And then also it made him look at them like, if he sees them again, what he knows them for is the little kids that wanted to finesse me out the candy, rather than them trying to be good kids and say, oh, look, it's this much, whatever, just pay me for the box. I mean, they got to make their little profit on it. So let's say not 55, but $65, $70 or whatever for the thing, right? They should have went that route, in my opinion, because them over asking for all that money, just expecting, because okay, he got money in his pocket, he's gonna give it to me, or they expect him to feel like he owes the community something back, is the problem. I think that a lot of times we look at rich people like, and exactly how I expressed it, rich people do shit like that, but we think that rich people, well, not we, but some people think that rich people's money is to give out. But it's because a lot of times that's how people in that, I guess, genre of career, whatever you want to put, career path, act. Like Kodak throwing fucking 100,000 or whatever. They said it wasn't actually $100,000, but bitch, it looked like more that's in my wallet. So it was a lot of money that he was just throwing in the river for no reason. So I think the kid's mindset was, okay, well, he's rich, he got it. They throw money out every day. So boom, let me just get over on him. Now, what do you take from that video?
I hate the internet. I really do, because if that video clip went viral for all the wrong reasons. I mean, it always kills me to hear people give an opinion on something like the at least the opinions I was seeing online about children and bringing up children and things like that. And it's like, you don't have kids. Kids are fucking assholes. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So it doesn't surprise me that these niggas try to finesse somebody out of money.
Mm.
Now, I do feel like it's the sense of entitlement. Like, okay, you out there, yeah, he got it. He still doesn't have to just give money out every time you see him because he's famous and because people feel like he got it. Like, I don't understand how that turned into him getting bashed for, like for that situation. Like, people were really upset. Oh, he shouldn't have done that. They're just kids. Okay, well, who's gonna teach him that you don't do shit like that? Like you said, it's those type of experiences that maybe not today, maybe not tomorrow, not even a week from now, but maybe later on down the line as an adult, they'll think back to that moment and say, damn, remember that time I was trying to sell candy and I ran into the baby and I really told that nigga $200.
Right, like
They're gonna have that moment, but it really pisses me off that people feel like, oh no, he shouldn't have done that. They're kids. Fuck them kids. Like, what? What are y'all talking about?
I think people's opinion come from the same expectation, like, oh, he got $200. What's $200 to him? Bitch, $200 is $200. That damn candy
Right.
box ain't worth that. And if those kids would have genuinely, I think, okay, the lesson that he was teaching them just long down the line would be greed gets you nowhere. Trying to be greedy leaves you with shit. You will get nothing in life if you're overly greedy, right? The other kid could have literally reversed the lesson, and if he would have charged him less, probably $100 for the box. I'm sure he would have went for that. I don't know, like 75 to 100.
I sit there and you hear the man tell your friend no, and then you're gonna turn around and use
And say the same shit.
Like, two is not the charm. Like, what is wrong with you guys? But it is that lesson. It's that greed. Like, a lot of people, and you run into this in different aspects of life. Like, even with me doing property management, I'll use that as an example. I have a unit that I needed to get remodeled. I hit up a bunch of contractors and I told them, this is what I need you to do. Well, the way that it was going, it was like people were not willing to give in a little bit on the short term to win on the long term. I'm a property manager. If I give you this unit, you do a good job. Trust me when I tell you there's more when that came from. But you're so fixated on making a fast buck that you burn that bridge. And that's essentially what I got out of it, is stop trying to finesse all the goddamn time, because nobody wants to deal with a finesser.
And finessing honestly gets you nowhere in the long run. I think people have finessed and it gets them little things like scammers, for example.
Right.
Let's bring it there. Hella fucking scammers, especially right now in the pandemic. I actually almost got scammed the other day. I'm very much like easily scammed, and I don't know why. This is a trait for me, and it's because I'm trusting, and it doesn't make sense. Like,
person, that's why.
I think that nobody's gonna do that shit to me, because I wouldn't do it to them, especially in a time like this. Like, why the fuck would you do that? But essentially scammers, okay, people do a lot of those fake scamming websites online, like, oh, I have a grant for you, or oh, you won this money, shit, you want an iPhone, whatever the fuck it is, to where they can get your card number, they can get your information, right? We're in the middle of fucking well, not in the middle, we're in the side. We're in the somewhat to an end of what a mass pandemic was in the States and worldwide, essentially. Why the fuck are you scamming and stealing money from people rather than going and getting a goddamn job? Like, you want to scam people and finesse, okay, boom, you're gonna get a couple $1,000s here and there, you up, whatever. All that money is going to get reported stolen, you fucking duck. And then the authorities, I'm like, I don't know exactly who coming after you, but if they don't come after you this year, next year, whatever, eventually they're gonna come for you. People don't get away with shit like that. And I'm a big person on, you can get away, if you don't get in trouble with like the law and whatever it is for scamming people, you're gonna get that energy karma. Like bad shit
Right.
is going to happen to you because you did bad shit to people. People are struggling right now and people need their money, or they're so easily like persuaded. I'm like, me for myself, when somebody's like, damn, you want to flip 200 and make 3,000? I'm like, yeah. But
Right.
there's a lot of
What we
people like that. And you're like, oh shit, you know, this is an amazing opportunity. I got it to do that. Boom, risk it. Low risk, high reward. But it doesn't end up being like that. It ends up being risk, risk, risk. And people don't know until it's already too late, but you're fucking people out of situations you don't even know that they're in. Like in the middle of the pandemic, I had lost my job. I didn't really lose it, but I was on an unpaid, like there was a couple months that my company couldn't pay me. The PPP loan had ran out and they didn't know when we were going to open back up. Thankfully, by God's grace, we opened back up sooner rather than later. But I did go a time period where I was in my savings only. Well, I had got behind on my car payments, and this fly tatted Sky, actually, fucking bitch, from Black Ink Crew. And I wrote her and I was like, you're a nasty ass fucking person for even supporting like people scamming people. You know that unless they paid you to post this shit, and you're probably getting emails from hella people that this motherfucker is scamming people. There's no way I'm the first person that this has happened to. Well, right. I was sent like her story that it basically was like, you know, they'll help you pay a bill that you're behind on right now, but it's just one bill. So I was like, bet, I'm behind, cool, whatever. So I talked to the person, they telling me everything I want to hear. And then they're like, hey, cash at me this amount and I'm going to pay the bill. So I cashed at them the amount. It was almost $300. And then they paid the bill, sent me the receipt for everything, right?
Wow.
Why they fucking disputed that shit a couple days later. They disputed, they reversed it or some shit. It ended up being reversed. I ended up owing the bill in full back plus a bounce back.
You were out of
or a return fee. I was out of the
Wow.
300, plus I had to pay the remainder of the bill, plus I had to pay the bounce back fee. Thankfully, I was able to do that. But it's like, what if I wasn't able to? And it was my car payment. So if I wasn't able to work that out, I would have no car. My car would be repoed. So for your selfish ass, you put me in a situation like that. Like, that's fucked up. Yeah, I was gullible. Yeah, I'm a fucking idiot. I get it. I've heard all that. All my friends have got on me. Like, why the fuck would you do that? The shit sounded like a scam. I was like, because I was gullible and I was in a position where I felt like that could help me. So these people that are, you know, being greedy, scamming people out of their money, like their savings and shit like that, people with families that are probably trying to get help and do shit like, what the fuck? Like, what the fuck? And you won't know until you get that karma, honestly, these lessons. So bringing it back to the boys, I think that their karma is, what if they really did need to sell that box of candy to do something that they like eat, honestly, or catch a bus, like make that money, and they're not getting it. Their karma for being greedy and like trying to take it as a joke of not heeding what he was trying to show them, was that maybe they didn't sell any more candy for the day. Maybe they were stuck on that damn box or whatever, but you lost out an opportunity, and you're on the internet looking crazy. And while he's getting a lot more bad backlash than I thought he was going to, because I thought people were going to see it like I did. Like, okay, he showed these little kids a lesson. Like, that's what you get for being fucking greedy. Now, be normal, be humble, and stop taking advantage of people that you think you can get over on, and then good things will happen to you. But instead, motherfuckers like, oh, he got $200. He couldn't just give it to him. You're the same motherfuckers that try to get over on people. Just so y'all know, if that's your opinion when you see this video, you're the same ass people that try to get over on anybody. And you're probably the same people that make sports bets and don't make good on those bets.
Right. Yeah, like the whole argument of, oh, he had it to give. It's like, yeah, but it's his money. Like, where do you people telling someone how to spend their money? Like, it was his money, and guess what, that nigga had to fucking work and put in years of grinding and, you know what I'm saying, into his craft to even
get
be
there.
who he is today.
And I'm sure $200 when he wasn't, before he was where he's at, he seen $200 like a regular person. I could use $200.
Right, of course. That's why I was like, fuck them kids.
Yeah, no, it's definitely fuck them kids. They look like badass kids. Those look like the kids that stay out all fucking night. Like I was like, that's why I said I think that they might have stole the candy box.
People.
What'd you say?
I'm like, where's your mama at? Does she know you out here finessing people like this, going
Nah,
viral for all the
facts.
wrong reasons?
I wonder if their parents seen it, because we're in a day and age where it's a lot of young moms and everybody's on the internet. I wonder if their parents seen that, and if they did, what did they tell them? Like, damn, why would you do that, or why wouldn't he pay you?
But I mean, I feel like if their parents were on social media, like if they did see it, I feel like by now we would have gotten a response. I would love to hear what she has to say, because I would be mortified.
If your child did that?
Yeah, like that's not who I'm raising my kid to be. Like, what are you out here? Don't embarrass me.
That is embarrassing, because it's like, okay, once he told you there's 35 pieces and $2 a piece for 35 pieces of candy don't equal anywhere near 200, he should have went down on the price. Instead, he kept saying, nah, it's 200, nah, it's 200. That's like how I'm trying to compare it to something, but I can't give the exact, like mall. When you go to the mall and there's the kiosk and people sell stuff, but you're trying to go back and forth and haggle and try to be like, hey, let me get it for less. And they're like, nah, it's this price. They got to say this price. But they're not going to make the sale. When you stick at a price and somebody's like, okay, I can't pay that. What about this? What about that? Anybody who's going to ask you 3 times to change the price, they're giving you the opportunity to lower it, because they're not going to buy it at that price. You go to another salesperson and they're like, you know what? They charging you 160. I'll do it for 130. I might have wanted to pay 100, but because they knocked off the $30 off back, I'm probably not going to sit there and be like, no, do it for 100. I'll probably be like, you know what? 130. All right, I could do it.
Right.
Just because you're working with me.
Right. Exactly. So yeah, I don't see anything wrong with what he did. I mean, people just want to have something to talk about. Like, I don't think he did anything wrong.
I don't think he did anything wrong either.
No child left behind ass kid.
I said no child left behind. Charity ass kids. But they literally, like, they honestly really blocked their blessing. And I think the reason also why people didn't kind of get the less, like, what he was trying to teach them off of that video was because the way he closed the door, sat back down, he basically was like, they got me fucked up. So people look at that like, oh, he's being arrogant. No, he's not. They did have him fucked up. Like, what? Right. $200 for that box? Hell nah. That ain't what that's worth. And you're gonna make your profit off of it. Okay, cool. But you're not gonna fuck me either. Like, I would have gave you, he literally said he would have gave them $1,000. That's 800 more if they would have given him a lower price. Like,
that's what he was looking. He was looking to see where their mentality was and to see if they were going to be reasonable. And they weren't reasonable.
You got to stay humble. You can't jump outside of your range, I'd say. Like, I don't know. All around, greed gets you nowhere in life. Greed gets you nowhere but the hot spot. Okay. And I'm not talking about anywhere in the world. I'm talking about under there. That bitch gets you the HE double hockey sticks. If you're greedy, you lose. You see, like, not stock owners, but like big ass fucking CEOs and shit, when they start stealing from their company and all that shit, like, you don't shit where you eat. You don't.
Right.
So when you start stealing from people, doing stuff like that, those are the same people who get audited and lose all their money. They could be millionaires one day and they end up being fucking broke. Or they'll be millionaires and they're doing it off of, I don't know, like fucking a company, like a car loan companies. Those are fucking big ass scammers, right? So let's say the CEO from that company, they go over, like, fucking people over in their car payments, whatever, and that they heed like all of those, I guess, late payments, all the fees, all shit like that. Basically fucking people and not giving people a chance. Like, the CEO of my fucking car payment company can eat my asshole, and I hope this happens to them. But just saying, like, a CEO of a company like that basically makes their money off of people's downfalls or people's late payments and stuff. They hire a financial advisor that ends up stealing thousands and thousands of dollars from them. And then they end up in this lawsuit, shit like that. I'm trying to give you Schitt's Creek, but basically that type of shit. And then they end up having absolutely nothing, and they're getting fucked over by somebody within their own company. It's like, that's what you get because you're a dickhead, because you don't care about other people. The greedier you are, no matter if greed gets you to the top or whatever. Once you get up there, you're going to be lonely. Once you get up there, you're not going to have anybody to lean on or anybody who really trusts you or wants to be around you or work with you because you're a bastard. So same thing for these kids. Like nobody's going to want to, well, you know, in my opinion, if you watch that video and understood the assignment, nobody's gonna really want to, like, who the fuck is gonna buy shit from those little kids because they're being hella greedy. Like, I'm not paying more than $100 for that box. Even if I got 7,000 in my pocket to give away to charity, I'm not paying more than $100 for that fucking box of candy. For some Skittles and some Gushers, I would go to Walmart right now and get 18 packs of that shit for $75. Bitch, I'm not, what? I'm not doing all that shit. Like, it's weird. And then at least if the kids would have been smart too. They don't know basic math. How you charging $2 each piece of candy? There's 35 pieces or like little packets of candy in the box. And you're trying to say 200. That's what, 70? That's 35 times left 2.
It's because they didn't even know how to do.
They didn't even know how to fucking do math. I would have been like, it's $4 or $5 a piece of candy. So let's multiply 30 times 5 or whatever. I don't know. That shit's closer to 200 though. And that would have made sense. He's gonna be like, I bet.
Who the hell even wants to buy 35 Gushers and Skittles? Like,
I love Gushers. I actually would buy a whole box. That shit low key, I'm not gonna lie, that shit low key made me want to go to Costco. And I got a Costco literally right attached to my apartment complex. I almost went to Costco and got some Gushers. That's my shit. I was really disappointed. I said, damn.
35, I can't eat that shit.
Like, bro, that shit gets stuck in my teeth, but I don't got braces anymore, so it is what it is. But I don't think those kids are gonna be.
Enjoy your Gushers then.
I will. I'm gonna get a whole bunch of fucking Gushers. But I think this is just gonna teach them, like, don't do that shit no more. Next time you get the opportunity to meet somebody, or even in a position to meet somebody, how many times do artists actually open their door for people? How many times do they sit there and talk to kids?
Right.
Like, and you don't see that.
He could have easily also just bought one and given them $10.
Oh, I see what you mean.
Kept it pushing. Mm-hmm. He offered to buy, like, to take it all off their hands and just cash them out. Like, he didn't have to do that at all. He could have been a dickhead. He wasn't being a dickhead.
He wasn't being a dickhead till they became a dickhead. And it was like, all right, you want to be funny? Boom, now who's laughing? Who's going to have the last laugh? Me or you with your $2 profit? It's going to be me, because $2 ain't shit. Well, you know, honestly, $2 is $2 fucking dollars. So he just like, all right, bet I'm going to get one piece of candy. Cool, whatever. He didn't even, you know, if he wanted the candy, he would have went to the store and got the candy. He was trying to show love. And now you see, if you're trying to show love and people are trying to fuck you over, stand on how you feel. Don't let them fuck you over, because the moment you let them fuck you over, they're going to keep fucking people over. And that's why he chose to be like, nah, fuck that. Give me one piece. All right, cool. Boom. Have a good day. Because if he would have said fuck it and bought the box, that would have taught them nothing. Because what they would have said was, whatever. At least he still bought the box though. We got $200. Laughed about it and left. Right. But since he didn't do that, now they like, damn, we should have gave his ass a lower price. Damn, we should have did something different. But whatever. They
could have came up that day. Lesson learned.
Lesson learned. No come up with greed. To transition into upsetting things for me, I want to get a little bit into, I want to stay on the music track, but actually get into music. So I'm not sure, but are you a Pop Smoke fan?
I am.
Okay, so, you know, rest his soul. But this has been the second album drop now that of postpartum. Oh my God. Postmortem. Postmortem. He's not pregnant. But the second postmortem album that's dropped. And I'll let you take the floor with, what is your honest opinion of this?
I haven't really gone through the album. But it's interesting because my son actually, and it's funny because he had no idea that we were going to be speaking about this today, but he texted me yesterday and he says, I just started listening to the new Pop Smoke album. He said, I'm not even 3 songs in and it doesn't sound right. Manslaughter sounds like ass. What the fuck did the industry do to this album? I just finished listening to it. It's not good. They did this dude like X, talking about XXX
Mhm.
That was my son's opinion on it. I haven't gotten through the album yet. It just really, I think it really just depends on the artist. I feel like for example, right? Like if you're talking about an artist that has like, let's say, years in the game, like let's say a decade or two, you know what I'm saying, and they pass away and you have all this accumulated, music that they didn't get a chance to release for whatever the reason, and you want to then compile it and do an album, like for like I feel like that is more appropriate. When it comes to pop, it just feels weird because it was like his first album, and maybe it was just me, but all the beats sound the same. It all sounds the motherfucking same. So to force a second album, the way I look at it is this is not something you're doing for the fans, or for, the love of music and trying to keep, his name alive and whatever the case is. It feels like to me, like this is more like, the kid had a run. I mean, he was only 20 years old. He started to have a run. He was murdered. What can we get out of the situation? And that's why I don't necessarily like it. As far as the album musically, I haven't gotten through it, so I can't say one way or the other how I feel about the album, but it just feels like the whole rollout is like, you guys are fucking literally sitting in a studio and putting pieces of different things together trying to compile an album. It screams money.
Honestly, I will agree with you. I'm going to piggyback off of that. It screams greed. It screams, y'all asses are being way too greedy, because now I think they're fucking with the integrity of his music. I think, and for those of you who don't necessarily know what I'm referring to, the integrity of an artist's music is how they want their music to be portrayed and characterized, how they carry themselves. It's their pride, essentially. It's exactly what they want to exert. So starting off with the shit that I thought was weird was the features. This motherfucker had 21 Savage and 42 Doug on a song. That's weird. I don't, and not because I fuck with 42 and I fuck with 21 on some other shit though. Half of the people that they had on features just didn't make sense at all. Right. Like it didn't make sense in a bad way. They had Dua Lipa. Is it Dua Lipa? That's how you say her name? Dua Lipa?
I have no idea who she is.
It's a female, but she's in the pop industry or whatever. Pop Smoke is not pop. He's real New York music. Like, I mean, he does have some radio hits, of course, and motherfuckers play him in the club, but he's a hardcore rapper. Why the fuck are you mixing that without him being alive to really, I guess, digest the music, see what needs to be changed, and see what he likes? To me, I think they just basically took snippets of what he had, not even something that he actually sat down and laid any tracks. They just picked up little pieces of what they had, and maybe they started recording a track and then they left it empty for other features, but they sat there and just added anybody. Like, okay, who would pay to get a track with him? Or who can we probably, if we monitor, opportunists. That's exactly what they are, a fucking opportunist. And they're being opportunists off of a young man's death, somebody who had their whole life ahead of them, who just got into like huge stardom. So it's kind of like a big, y'all are some assholes. I know his brother put out actually that he was upset. He didn't even know the album was coming out. There wasn't a huge rollout. He didn't get any news. It was just boom, the album was dropping. I'm not gonna lie, I didn't even know a new album was dropping. I knew only from, I have my other podcast, Dead Ass though, they were talking about it, and then boom, the album dropped. And I was like, oh shit, I thought this was just bullshit. I didn't believe in a second album. To me,
where's it coming from?
Exactly, like it's coming out their asses clearly, and that's what we're seeing. And it sucks because the real fans are like, yo, what the fuck is this? They had a song, it's something a million, that is some Road to a Million or Got a Million. It's something million is in the title, but that was an original unreleased track with a whole different artist on it. So they took that artist off and put in, let me see, actually, I'm gonna Carfax this shit so I don't keep lying to y'all. But they basically switched up the whole shit and took the other guy off of the song, then added in a new artist, and it just sounded worse than the original drop. Like it made about 1 million. And that is actually the one that they put 21 Savage on and 42 Doug. And it just doesn't really, the song sucks. The song sucks. The album to me is, I'll give it a 3 out of 10. I only had like a couple of tracks that I was like, all right, actually it's not that bad. But it's just like, y'all didn't have to do this. Now you got people talking shit about a piece of artwork with his name attached to it. Now you got people questioning the integrity of his music overall, the integrity of his label, you know, shit like that. It just, it's fucked up. And it's fucked up because everything is broadcasted on social media. And you know who's on social media? His family, his loved ones. So not only do they see all this news with him, but they see people like, what the fuck is this? Why you dropped this?
Girlfriends, like everybody has to deal with this.
So it's, what'd you say? All what?
I said all 15 of his girlfriends.
I knew you were talking shit. I heard the girlfriends. I was like, with an S? Yeah, no.
When that died, it was like everybody had a picture and a story like, oh my God, no. And I'm like, you too? Wow. Yeah. Sounds like Brooklyn nigga shit to me, but I'm saying.
But you know, we gonna mind our business with that. But like, it's the same thing. It's like this album dropped out of nowhere and everybody's like, what? What's going on? That's how the fuck the girlfriends drop was. When all the girlfriends started dropping their videos, everybody's like, nah, we thought he was a good one. We thought.
He's from fucking Brooklyn and he's part Panamanian. What is he, Panamanian, Jamaican?
I don't know. I think he's definitely part Jamaican. I didn't know if he was Panamanian or not, but
I believe he may be Panamanian. You don't want, listen, those are the type of niggas I tell my girls all the time, have fun with. Those are fun. Those are not the ones you try to make relationships out of unless you want your life ruined. Like that's just,
a future. Yeah. That's literally future. So it's the same type of concept. But back to the album, I think that they should have never did that. Like, why you do now? You're reaching. Like, y'all really reached to stretch something out to put money in your pocket. Like, do you not have another artist you could do that for? Because to me, okay, I want to put it in the comparison of, I've seen Biggie be mixed with a lot of like EDM songs. They'll take like snippets of his old music and then put it on an EDM song, mix it, whatever, re-release, and then people love it. But it goes together because they'll fit the beat to his sound. The beats that were on this album, not all of them, but a lot of them didn't really make sense. It didn't even sound like something pop would make. So you're releasing music with this man's name attached to it that he probably wouldn't even support. So if you really had love for him or just respect, period, for a young man losing his life, you wouldn't have done that. You would have considered it a little more.
Yeah. I wonder what his numbers are looking like. Like, I wonder from an executive standpoint, if they feel like, okay, this was worth it. Cause I can't really see people listening to that album. Like, I really don't know like what the streaming value is going to be on that. Like you would listen to it like maybe once out of respect, like fuck with him as an artist. But once you realize like the music is not what it's supposed to be, and music is so disposable these days, like things drop in such a fast pace that people don't even remember albums like that. And this is definitely one that's just going to go straight in the trash. Like,
I think in a month, no, and I'm going to give it a month only because there's like negative backlash. So wherever there's negative, there's going to be positive somewhere. Somebody had to have liked this album. Not everybody hated it, or they'll like a few songs. But like you said, I think most people, majority of everyone, it's going to be a one-time listen through. And they're gonna drop everything and just be like, all right, whatever. I think the only thing taking away from the album shittiness is the fact that they put Pusha T on there, and Pusha did another fucking sneak diss towards Drake. And I don't want to get into that just yet, but this man needs to let that shit fucking go.
I was gonna say, just leave Drake alone. Like you did what to do, sir.
Like he doesn't know when to quit, honestly, but neither does the record exec who dropped this fucking album. They don't know when to quit. And I hope that they'll learn their lesson. I figured they would learn from the whole situation that happened with X. Like his shit was a flop, but people listened to it out of respect. And I think that's what they were banking on, is that no matter what, people were gonna listen out of respect. Everyone gave it a chance only because of the respect for this man's life. So for them to have disrespected and drop something so senseless, and that's what it felt like to me. It was just a senseless drop. They didn't really sit there and make sure it was perfect. They just wanted to rush it, drop it, and let it be that. If they really cared, I would think that they would have waited a little longer to try to get things together, or just not dropped it at all, or fucking offered people like snippets.
Yeah. There's nothing wrong with letting the man rest in peace. You know, like if you don't have the music, then and the music ain't there, then the music is not there. But it just really felt, even the first album to a degree kind of felt pieced together. I was just like, there really is no need for that. You know, like it's totally okay to just let the nigga die and rest in peace.
No, honestly, I'm laughing only because you're harsh. But that is true though. Like sometimes you really just need to let people rest and let their past music speak for them. He had got a Grammy, I think, after he passed. Like there was so much love that he could have gotten outside of releasing the whole album that wouldn't have been finished. Now, the first one, I'll give it to them. I know he had already been working on it, so who knows what they had in works and what he actually agreed on before they dropped that. But the second one, y'all got it.
Yeah, exactly.
Like there's no fucking way he agreed to have that shit. Some of it I will say, okay, seemed like he would agree to, he'd be okay with it dropping, but some of it just didn't make sense at all. Like this, I can't get over that they put this hoe in the song. I really can't. Like
Google who else is on this album, so I know, because you're telling me it was a pop artist.
Yeah, so
Kanye, I heard Kanye's
Chris Brown song, horrible.
Yeah.
And it's Chris Brown.
Kanye not give him like a good verse.
I just don't understand. Like Chris Brown is an amazing artist. I love Chris Brown, but Chris Brown is not the artist to have mixed with Pop Smoke. Like who the fuck thought of that?
Yeah.
And that song, and that chorus, like who did that? And did anybody listen to this shit before they dropped it? Because they couldn't have. Like there's no fucking way somebody sat there and listened to this entire album, was like, yeah, that's it. Put that shit up. Because it doesn't seem like it. It seemed like they literally senselessly fucking dropped this shit and said, boom, let's just make the money we can off of it and let shit go, because you're not going to be able to drop a third. That's dead. I think that they should have, if they were going to release like old tracks that he had or mix-ins, whatever the fuck they were going to do, I think they should have did it as singles. I don't think they should have dropped the whole album. The whole album was a little too greedy.
That would have been great. Like if you already think, you know, in the works and you want to drop a single, that's what people do all the time. They drop singles. If you can't put an album together, you can't put an album together. Like it's a lot of work to put a fucking album together. My man is a producer, you know, like it's countless hours, you know what I'm saying? Like that gets put into an album. So it's okay to like say, you know, either not, I mean, I personally could have done without it, but to your point, if they wanted to do something, singles would have been a great way to go.
So with artists, I don't know what his contract was looking like. With artists, no matter what happens, you have to make good on the contract. So I'm assuming that counts post-mortem as well, that they need to somehow make good on the contract. You know, like when you pass and you have bills, your bills get passed on to your loved ones. I just found that out like 2 years ago, and I was in shock. That shit actually breaks my heart. Why does my bills have to be a burden onto my loved ones after they've already lost me? I know companies, yeah, you need your money back, whatever it is, but what the fuck? Like you literally do not care that somebody lost their life, but you're gonna go after their loved, or you know, their immediate loved ones for bills that they have due that had nothing, most of the time has nothing to do with them. So I feel like artists, they get stuck in these contracts, and I don't know what the parameters of his contract are, like I said, but maybe his contract was, okay, you need to do a so-and-so amount of albums to make good on it. Because they front them that money, but that money is for them to utilize to create things to satisfy their contract. So maybe he had to be promised that last album.
I don't know, but guess what? I just texted my boyfriend. I want to hear what he has to say.
I want to know what he has to say too, especially because he works with music. Like, what do it? I honestly think that may have been why they dropped it, because it seems like there would be no other reason. Like, we didn't need another Pop Smoke album. I mean, it was amazing that people were able to hear his voice, and the unreleased tracks or tracks that people hadn't heard before, the real fans were able to hear him, but it was honestly in the worst way. Like, it wasn't to me, it wasn't in a good way. It wasn't satisfying. It was more so like disappointing. And it made me think like, yeah, this shit really do be all about the money. And music is supposed to fit, like play on emotion. Music is supposed to be nostalgic. And especially when you listen to an artist that you love and you miss, and you want to hear their voice in something new, and you're like, oh my God, like there's people who literally were heartbroken. I mean, I was heartbroken because of his age, and it was a wrongful death. It was harsh and it was fucked up. But I wasn't hurt because I listened to him every single day. So I can only imagine,
Right.
those artists that literally waited for him to drop, and then they heard the news like that, and you were never gonna see him live. You were never gonna have the opportunity. I had that feeling when Kobe passed. Kobe was somebody that I looked up to like a mentor. I even mentioned this in a lot of different episodes. But when he passed, I really sat down and I was like, damn, I'm never going to be able to meet him. And that shit broke my heart. Because I was like, there is no way in hell I can meet him. None at all. Because how?
Right.
I can't time travel back. You're never going to be able to have that experience. So the only other way I'm able to see him is watching tapes back, watching him coach, reading his book, watching his movie, like shit like that. So people look to, artists that pass on, like, where can I be able to get that feeling again? And for artists in music, it's fucking the new music or unreleased tracks that get released or leaked or whatever you want to call it. They're able to hear that voice again, and it gives them that, oh, it's you feeling. So I think that whoever dropped this album really stole that moment from people, especially ones that really loved him, that did not appreciate the album, like myself. I did not appreciate the album. I thought it was very selfish. And I think moving forward, I would say I don't believe that managers, label owners, record execs, whatever the fuck they go by, should be able to release like unfinished music by an artist at all. I think if people want to buy samples to create new songs, like how they do EDM does, or EDM music does for like Biggie, shit like that, I think that should be the same thing moving forward at all post-mortem. I don't think that they should have the say so in it, even though most of the time they do have the final green light. At least the artist has the ability to recreate something to offer them, like, no, don't use this, we're gonna do something new, or let's just get back in the studio and rewrite this shit. I don't like it, I don't like the sound. They're able to have control over what's released in some type of way, or at least know. Because what if he fucking honestly, and I think he would have, hate this album? That sucks. Like, that really fucking sucks. You took this moment from this man, and he can never change it because he's not here to change it. He's not here to give his opinion. He's not here to say, yeah, that sounds good, or yeah, I want to work with that artist. You guys are just doing whatever the fuck you guys want to do, and you're not thinking about what he would want. And that shit is just plain disrespectful. And overall, it's disrespectful to anybody who's passed. It really is. Like, that shit's mad disrespectful. It is. Well, I was mad for him. And I'm mad for his family too. Like, what the fuck? And anyone who passes on, I think as soon as they pass, then that's it. You having the green light, being able to control stuff should be out the fucking window.
So he said, in the event that an artist die while they're under contract, the contract is dead because that person is not able to fulfill that obligation. Okay. The label may seek to, let's say if if they put out some money up front, like they gave the artist in advance. The label can still try to recover some of those funds by either, the music that they put out or merchandise that they sell. But they also have the option of just writing it off.
Okay, cool. So there was no contract on this.
So
what
there
the fuck was
no,
the point?
What was the fucking we just want to know.
What's the fucking reason? Like, if there's no contract holding it, what would the...
Because like I said, I feel like people want to strike while the iron is hot. They were like, you know what, this man, we still can get some money out of him. So let's piece up together what we can and throw it out there. And that's disrespectful.
Mm-hmm. Because it was for all the wrong reasons. Now, if they would have did like an EP and it would have been a couple of tracks that just were unreleased, then cool. Right. But I also didn't like the fact that they literally took someone off of a song that was already finished. It just was it was like an underground track. So why did y'all feel like it was okay to take someone off and put somebody else new on versus why don't you just release the original? Because there's a music video and everything to the original. So I'm just confused why it just, I guess he just didn't actually, I don't know, stamp it, whatever, but it just doesn't make sense. Like, why would you do that? What made you do that?
One was on, you said another song, so it couldn't have been Clearance.
What do you mean, the one that they took someone out?
No, you said they took Savage, right? You said 21 Savage.
21 Savage, yeah. No, they put him on one.
Oh, they put him on. So who they took off?
I cannot remember the rapper's name. I'm not gonna lie. It's somebody I do not know. It's like a little it's a New York rapper. So it's not like he's not big or anything, but to drill music out there, he's definitely a staple. But for me, I don't know his name.
Gotcha.
I don't know this man. I have never seen him a day in my life. So I didn't know his fucking name. I was like, damn, I'm hoping you're not gonna ask that. But I'll find the Carfax and I'll let you know. But yeah, so I don't like that they did that.
As fans, we would have probably appreciated original work more than this shit.
Also, he had say in that, and he wanted the original track should just stay how it is. I don't believe that they should be able to mix it because the artist is not here to hear the mix. So we don't even know if they like it or not. Like, now, if it's different though, and I don't want to sound like a hypocrite because I do vouch for the whole big mixes. I think it's different if they pay for the artist's sample, because the money that they make off of the sample, I would assume is going to go to whoever owns the music, right? So then rightfully so, you sold the track. That's cool. But why are you making new music with shit that was never released and never signed off of?
Right.
Like, what made you feel like you needed to go ahead and let this out? And you could tell that a lot of it was pieced together and seemed forced because some of it was old songs just put on a new beat with somebody featured on it. So it just really it was giving me y'all don't give a fuck. It was giving me y'all are some dick suckers. So it's giving me we need to egg their houses or write a petition to get this shit sent back.
If it's gonna be the same beat that was on the entire last album, then good call, because the whole last album, the beat is the same. Like, it transitions beautifully, but it sounds the same.
It transitions beautifully because they didn't have to try too hard to make it fit.
Exactly.
But I will say, okay, the only argument I have towards that is all the beats being very similar from the last drop, is that half of that album he picked out. So I'm sure the other, all those other tracks were pretty much finished up. They just had to kind of master them, whatever you do, mix it, make it sound nice. So that, I will say, seemed like it was a drop that he would have more so green lighted, because he was a artist that stood in his lane. He wasn't an artist that really switched up like his cadence, any of that. He stood where he fit and he stood what worked. So that's why I didn't like this album more so, because it was just out of his range. And he hadn't been too much out of his range when he didn't have the chance to be out of his range too much because he was just blowing up. At that moment, I don't think people are looking for that. They like your sound. If that's what works for you, stick with it, run with it, cool. Why the fuck are y'all trying to switch it up? You're not gonna make a whole nother artist. he's gone, you
People
know,
don't even
sadly,
out
but
this soon like that either. Like when you think about people's albums, like normally people wait a couple years. You know what I mean?
mm-hmm.
Like these people just gave us one album, right? Cool. And then a whole year later, like, you know, we're getting another one. Like it was too soon of a release anyway. Fucking weirdos. That
Definitely
was not
weirdos.
like that really was just like I feel like that was just a money grab. That was not a
Mm-hmm.
well thought out plan at all.
I think he didn't have enough in his vault either to have tried to push for this second one if they wanted to, like in a good way, just because he's such a young artist. And like you said earlier, he didn't have a lot in his catalog to just give out to us. He was still
Right.
making music. He didn't have the, well, you know, I don't know, you know, whatever he was doing day to day when he was here with us, but just realistically, like Drake has been a star for what, the last decade.
Mm-hmm.
There's so much music that we have not heard from him, and there's so much things that he's been like, okay, whatever, I'm gonna trash it, or they keep it in a vault and they're like, look, I'm gonna wait till the time comes, and when I feel like it's right, I'm either gonna tune up what this is or I'm gonna get somebody on it to fix it, and then I'm gonna release it. And like you said, that's years later, but it's because he had 12 years to build that catalog and to build that vault and to have the option to drop shit that he hasn't dropped before. Because at that point, it's like, fuck it, I got all, I've already worked all this, I've got my new albums out. Maybe it's time to give them a taste of what I created before. Even like Nas dropped that one album that it was that wasn't Nasir that he dropped. It was fuck, something tapes too.
Oh, I know which ones you're talking about.
Why can I not? Lost Tapes.
I was
So
gonna,
Lost Tapes 2 was Nas's vote. And he
yeah,
just waited and then he released. But he released years later.
yeah, because it's been
That's when you
building
do
up.
that. Literally, you
Right.
build it up and you build, okay, y'all want to hear what I didn't release before, or y'all want to hear some shit that I remastered and made it sound good? Fucking take Nicki Minaj, for example. What was her last project that she just dropped?
Beam me up, Scotty.
Beam me up. All that is old shit. All that is old
Mm-hmm.
shit. Cool. But that's because she's been on top for a decade. She's able
Right.
to accumulate all of that. He wasn't an artist that was able to get there, God rest his soul, but it wasn't his fault he wasn't able to really get there. He just needed that time and he didn't have that time. So it's like, how are you going to forcefully push something out that just wasn't ready?
Right. That's all. And like I said, that was just a label thing, and it just don't make no sense.
It's shitty. So this is the last thing that I'm gonna say to you. And we're gonna leave off on this note. I'm gonna need Pusha T to re-fucking lax. Because I don't understand why he's still on Drake's dick. It makes no sense to me. Like,
Right.
what the fuck? You still mad at this man? He living his life. He running out stadiums for dinners and shit. He's creating hits. He's chilling. I haven't heard a peep from Drake about Pusha T. So why does he feel like he needs to do the little subliminal like jab? I think is to make him, I mean, I love Pusha. I think he's a great lyricist, but it makes him look corny and it makes him
Right.
look mad as fuck. Like, are you doing it so that way people can hear it and be like, oh my God, let the blogs talk about it? Because that's all you really can be doing it for, some petty drama. You want to start some shit to make you relevant, right?
Right.
What else you gonna do with that?
I don't know what the real issue is at this point. I feel the same way. I like he was bothering nobody. Like, why are y'all like this? And a part of me, like, I love Pusha T. And even a bigger, like, I feel like hip hop's bully is 50 Cent, right?
Mm-hmm.
I love 50. Yo, 50 came out swinging on everybody. He was like, you, and you. And that was what he became known as in the industry, aside from his music, but that was his image. But even now, when 50 does little corny shit, like, oh, at first it was still kind of funny. And I would say it all the time, like, well, it's 50. What do you expect?
Right.
Like, he's literally fully. But then it got to the point where it was like, my nigga, like, Ja, you old as hell. You stop. Like, you out here producing fucking TV shows and shit. You got a bad bitch on your side. You clearly not hurting for money. Like, chill on me. Like, why you out here acting like this still? But it becomes a persona. And the thing about Pusha, I hate to say, damn it. Like, Pusha has not put out anything no time, like in a while now. Like, he has nothing recent that I can think of. I think the last project was the one that he did with Kanye.
He just does features.
Daytona. Yeah.
Daytona was the last drop.
Yeah, that was what, like 3-4 years ago. But he's not somebody that people are talking about. Yeah, you just don't. Like, he has his fan base, of course, but it's not somebody like when you bring up Drake, like Drake is a topic of conversation these days. It's just like, it almost feels like you're trying to stay relevant by mentioning another nigga's name. And that, like, sir, take his dick out your mouth.
That can cancel you, honestly. Like, that I think the only thing saving Pusha is because he got bars. Because if somebody keeps talking about someone and they're not reacting, it's like, I don't even know why you motherfuckers bother anymore. Like, give it up. Right. It's Drake. Like, what the fuck are you doing? Give that shit up. Let it rest. Because all he's going to do is ignore you, drop another fire out. Well, he's about to drop again. So, like, that's just, like, going to be irrelevant.
Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, as he should just go on about his day, because it's like, what is the real issue? It screams like he's not happy, because I wouldn't be worried about what the next motherfucker is doing if I'm busy being happy and living my life. It just doesn't make sense. Like, you got it. Like, that was the thing too, in my opinion, when that whole back and forth with Pusha and Drake. I think Pusha won. Pusha found like the chink in the armor and went for it. Like, you finished him. You proved to us what we already knew, you know. So at this point, it's like, you got it, bro. Just move on. Like, what is the problem?
Pusha definitely won because Drake kind of waved the white flag, announced that his son really was a person, and then left it at that. Put out a song like, you know, what he really was trying to do was, you know, how he was hiding the world from his son, not his son from the world, whatever the fuck excuse he was using, which I still think is funny. But I was like, okay, bro, that's what's going on. Who the fuck does that? But I think that the lesson here is pack it up.
Yeah.
I'm gonna need Pop's manager to pack it up. I'm gonna need Pusha T to pack it up, and I'm gonna need them little boys to pack it the fuck up. And we're about to pack it the fuck up. So, like always, you know what to do, Posh. Give your sign off. Let us know how we can reach you. Let us know what you're doing. Tell us about your podcast, all that good shit.
So the Posh Sessions is my podcast where I go on there. I discuss life, culture, music, parenting, relationships, sex, anything that I pretty much think about. And I can be found at the Posh Sessions on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. I don't really fuck with Snapchat like that. And of course, if you go on my Instagram, if you hit the link in my bio, it'll take you to my podcast. But I am also the Posh Sessions on Apple Podcasts. Google now became YouTube audio. I'm on SoundCloud, Spotify. So that's how you can find me.
On all that shit. So go listen to her, stream her, like, comment, subscribe. And that's it. And you already know what to do. Sorryifoffendyou.com. I got a lot of new merch dropping, a lot of new projects going out. So Instagram, pay a motherfucking attention. Twitter, pay a motherfucking attention. You know where to find me. Sorry If I Offend You podcast on all platforms. And you know this. Another Monday. I'll see y'all next week. Peace.